Are you ready? What chapter are we on?
18.
Chapter 18 from?
Wayside School Gets a Little Strange.
All right, this is called The Blue Notebook.
What's the blue notebook?
Oh, you don't remember what the Blue Notebook is? The Blue Notebook is what? What's the Blue Notebook? Who remembers?
Whenever they were dropping stuff out of the window.
Mrs. Drizzle always carries her Blue Notebook, and she's very protective of it, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't like anybody to touch it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That looks like somebody grabbed her Blue Notebook. We're going to find out what kind of secrets she has in here.
Yay.
All right, let's go. Chapter 18, The Blue Notebook. They had a plan. It all depended on Cherie. Everyone just hoped she wouldn't fall asleep first. Cherie often fell asleep in class. Come on, Cherie, thought Dee Dee. You can do it. Cherie looked out the window. The sky was full of big, fluffy clouds. She yawned. The clouds looked like giant pillows. Cherie imagined herself wrapped up in one of those clouds, soft and cozy. She pulled her blue-red overcoat snugly over her head. Her eyes closed. Then they opened wide. What's that? She shouted. Cherie, said Mrs. Drizzle. Look, shouted Cherie, pointing out the window. It's hurry! Her long eyelashes stuck straight out. Mrs. Drizzle hurried to Cherie's desk. What is it? A spaceship, said Cherie, from outer space. On the other side of the room, Dee Dee dropped her pencil. She bent down to pick it up and then stayed down. Dee Dee was part of the plan, too. She had a dangerous mission. She had volunteered for it, and she felt it was her duty since she was the one who had brought Louis up to meet Mrs. Drizzle in the first place. You don't have to do it, Ron had told her. Mrs. Drizzle would have seen Louis sooner or later. No, I'll do it, Dee Dee had bravely replied. Now she crawled across the floor. Mrs. Drizzle looked out the window. Where? She asked. Wait, it went behind a cloud, said Cherie. What did it look like? Asked Mrs. Drizzle. Like a giant hamburger, said Cherie. But there was a zizzle sticks hanging down from the bottom. Dee Dee crawled to the teacher's desk. She reached up quietly and opened the top drawer. She removed the blue notebook. Mrs. Drizzle stared out the window. What's a zizzle stick? She asked. I don't know, Cherie said very mysteriously. They don't have them here on Earth. Dee Dee crawled safely back to her seat. At recess, everyone crowded around Dee Dee as she went through the blue notebook. Louis once put a frog in Mrs. Drizzle's shoe, she said. Well, why wasn't her shoe on her foot? Asked Jenny. It doesn't say, said Dee Dee. There's a whole list of bad things that Louis did, and he made it sound like Mrs. Drizzle picked on him for no reason. No wonder she put a trash can on his head, said Todd. What else did he do? Asked Eric Bacon, who was always looking for new ideas. But Dee Dee had already turned the page. There are other kids who were a lot worse than Louis, she said, flipping through the pages. What are you looking for? Asked Ron. I don't know yet, said Dee Dee, but I'll know when I see it. She saw it. It was a note to Mrs. Drizzle from a girl named Jane Smith. Dee Dee read the note aloud. Dear Lizardface, guess what? I didn't do my homework again. Ha, ha, ha. And there's nothing you can do about it because you're too stupid and ugly. Ha, ha, ha. My family is moving away tomorrow and you don't know where. Ha, ha, ha. Go rub a monkey's tummy. By the time you get this letter, I'll be long gone. Rub a monkey's tummy with your head. Love and kisses, Jane Smith. Everyone was shocked. How old is that letter? Asked Myron. Dee Dee checked the date, then did the math in her head. Jane Smith wrote it 26 years ago. And look, said Ron, reading over Dee Dee's shoulder. Jane didn't do her last 12 homework assignments. After recess, Cherie saw the UFO again, and Dee Dee returned the notebook to Mrs. Drizzle's desk. Now all they had to do was find Jane Smith. Why are they going to find Jane Smith, do you think, Eliza?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't think they want to find her and ask her why she wrote that letter?
I think going to look for her, but they don't know where she is.
I know.
So they're going to look maybe all over the world.
Maybe. I wonder what Jane Smith will have to say.
I know.
We'll have to keep reading to find out. Till next time. Bye.